morning to one and all. It is indeed an exhilarating, energizing and exciting experience to be here with the promising youth of IBS Pune. Before I commence with my personal experiences, I would like to share with you all about some young individuals who were able to achieve something unimaginable, impossible, something you couldn't even dream of. So my first person I'm going to talk about is a runner. She was traveling in a train when some miscreants wanted to snatch her purse. She put up a brave fight. But what did the miscreants do? Out of spite, they threw her out of the running train. The poor kid, one of her legs came under the wheels of the train and her leg was completely shattered, which eventually had to be amputated. Her road to recovery was filled with depression, with phantom limb pains and torture on all levels, physical, mental, as well as emotional. But did she give up? No, she did not. When the doctor told her, you will get an artificial limb and you will be able to walk again. Tumko kaun sa marathon daudna hai? She told herself. अगर ईश्वर ने मुझे जिंदा रखा है तो कुछ बड़ा करने के लिए. She joined a rehab center for para-athletes and trained herself. Soon, she completed her first half marathon of 21 kilometers. I present to you Kiran Kinojia, the first woman blade runner of India. Now she has more than 6 half marathons under her belt. She is an epitome of resilience who fought against all odds and achieved some greatness which many of us wouldn't even dare to dream of. The second person I'm going to talk to you about. She lost her sight at the age of 8, but she did not lose sight of her dreams. She belongs to Himachal Pradesh, one small district which is known as Kinnaur, a village there. She decided that she would do the impossible. Helen Keller was her hero, her inspiration. And let me tell you that on the 19th of May this year, this lady, she climbed the highest peak in the world, Mount Everest, and planted the tricolor there. I present to you the climber, Chinzon Angmo. Though blind, you know what she had to say? My story has just begun. My blindness is not my weakness, it's my strength. The third person I'm going to present to you is, I call him the captain. Many of you might recognize him. In 2006, he was to join the national hockey team. While traveling on the train to New Delhi to join his teammates, an unfortunate accident took place. A gun with one of the railway police personnel went off. The bullet shot through his spine and he was badly injured with several internal injuries. Surgery followed, and when he regained consciousness, the doctors told him he may never walk again, leave alone play hockey. He decided that this is not how he is going to live. Within a year, he was walking, and in 2008, he joined the national team. In 2009, he became the captain. I present to you Sandeep Singh, also known as flicker sing, known for his rapid drag flicks. If you have grit, if you have determination, you can always win. You should just have the willpower, the grit, and be grateful for what you have, instead of thinking of what you do not have. Right? You must be wondering, why am I telling you about all these people? It is to tell you that should adversity come your way, just think of them and try to achieve greatness. You can do it. All of us are capable of achieving greatness. It is inherent between us. Now let me share something about my years of teaching. I have taught for 3 decades and some very different subjects: English literature, biology, and chemistry. The students who came to my class did not come in all very motivated and inspired. They needed inspiration, they needed hand-holding, they needed somebody to motivate them. I'll give an example of a student of mine who in the 11th grade was very, very shy, quiet. She would just sit quietly at the back of the class. She would not participate in class discussions. She would not involve herself in any of the activities going on in the class. When I saw her, I knew she wasn't lazy. She was just feeling lonely. And it almost seemed that she needed an anchor. Now, motivation doesn't mean that you push the person hard. You just start involving the person. Make the person feel seen in the class. I started involving her. I started asking her questions. I started asking her whether she could understand how the chemical formulae are written, how chemical equations are balanced. To my surprise, she just blossomed and bloomed. She started participating in all class activities. It was suddenly as though she came to life. And, surprise for you, she wasn't keen on just getting motivated. She wanted to learn more and more. She was thirsting for knowledge. At the end of the examinations in grade 12, she topped the board. Such is the power of motivation. It can become your superpower. What is the myth about motivation? The myth about motivation is that people think you have to come to the classroom all motivated and inspired. But my students came to the class and then got inspired along the way. I can share with you that sometimes motivation doesn't need to be a very big thing like a bolt of lightning or being very bright, passionate. It can be something as mild as just showing up. How many of you had to pull yourself out of bed today and drag yourself to this auditorium? Maybe not all of you. No, you need to raise your hands. You know about it. So, but you came all the same. That itself is motivation. You took the trouble to come here and now you're listening to the speakers. That is motivation. As postgraduate students, so many times it must be happening when you wake up in the morning, you feel you can't take it anymore. That you have so much of work to put in, you have to attend your classes, and you just feel like giving up. But still you come to the college, you attend your lectures. That is motivation. A simple, gentle push. Surround yourself with people who are like-minded and try to achieve the most. Coming to the 3 lessons of motivation which I have learned along the way, which apply to my students as much as they would do to you postgraduate students. First, curiosity beats confidence. As kids, you must have heard curiosity killed the cat, but that is not true. What I have learned is that the best students in my class, whether I was taking literature, whether I was taking science, were the ones who were the most curious. They were the ones who would ask the most difficult and strange questions. Out of the box thinking was there. Others, confident students, always said, oh, I know it all. Whereas my curious students would say, I know something, but tell me more, I want to learn more. So this is the difference. Now my personal experience of what happens when you allow your curiosity to motivate you. I was already 52 years old in 2015 when I learned that NASA, the United States Space Research Center, was asking for applications for their STEM program. STEM, you already know, science, technology, engineering, and maths. I was already a very senior teacher, head of the department, and I was a little worried that the rest of the students would be much younger than me. Would I be able to cope up? There would be physicists, there would be scientists. Would I be able to learn what they would be teaching? I was assailed by self-doubt, but pushing that aside, I took my curiosity, which motivated me to apply all the same. Then what happened? Let's have a look. All right. So like you just saw, I had applied and I was selected. And not just selected as other educators. I won a full expenses paid scholarship to NASA's training program. And then my curiosity, my motivation led me to achieve even much more than I could have ever imagined. I knew that this was once in a lifetime chance for me. I gave it my best shot. Soon the instructors realized that, okay, she's got leadership qualities. I was made the leader of my team, called as Team Destiny. And I took Team Destiny to the first position in the 2015 training. We performed different experiments where our team did the best. We had simulated space missions, and I was chosen to be the flight director of both the missions. Imagine a 52-year-old competing with all younger people and surpassing them. In fact, we had an experiment. I'll just share a little bit about that experiment with all of you, where we were given a raw egg to be an astronaut. We were given materials with which we had to make a spacecraft. And the spacecraft should have the qualities such that when it enters the Earth's atmosphere after going into space and back, it should be able to withstand the heat and not get burnt out. Others used very expensive materials. Unfortunately, all the astronauts got burnt. But Team Destiny's astronaut came back safe and sound to Earth's surface. This is all because of choosing simple, inexpensive, but effective materials. I had taken the typical Indian approach of using the best, but most inexpensive materials. One of the instructors remarked to the other, "You see how these Indians are. No wonder they could send their mom to Mars at such a minuscule cost." So mom, as you can read on the screen, was the mission of Mars Orbiter Mission, also popularly known as Mangalyaan. So ISRO had launched the orbiter on November 5th, 2013. And in September 2014, it entered the orbit of Mars. And I went for training in 2015, and there at NASA, they were all going gaga about India's this feat, because India was the first Asian country and the fourth in the world to have achieved this feat. I did feel very proud. So you can think of it as going from one mom to the other. Here we both were achieving greatness for our nation. I was so proud of having built an inexpensive, efficient, very workable spacecraft. I think that was one of the greatest achievements of my life. Coming back to the next lesson which I learned from my years of teaching. You need to practice discipline, but discipline has to be a kindness which you do to yourself, your future self. You have to learn what is it that you can learn today which can make your tomorrow better. You need to pick up small things along the way. Develop the simple practice of learning from others, getting motivated by others, observing others. It's not necessary. You don't need to have discipline by being very strict and having a very rigid schedule to follow. You don't have to sit for hours together at night, headphones on, like a lone crusader studying, and you need not be alone. Please don't be alone. You should be surrounding yourself with peers who can motivate you, and you can motivate them in turn. You can take advice from your mentor, from your peer, from your parent, or from your teacher. Don't isolate yourself. Once you isolate yourself, you cannot make headway. You need to be together. You need to take people along. Find success for others as well as for yourself. Don't try to be a lone wolf. Okay? Right. Now coming to the next thing. I always tell my students that you must know about the law of cause and effect. What is this law of cause and effect? It's a very simple law. Whatever you give out into the universe will come back to you. Create good causes, good will come back to you. Create bad causes, that too will come back to you. In Hindi there is a saying, Jaisi karni, vaisi bharni. And in English, what you sow, so shall you reap. You create good causes, surround yourself with positivity so that there is no room for any negativity in your life, and you will be successful in whatever you try to do. You have the capability to achieve anything possible. Never doubt yourself. And if at all at any time you do feel unsure of yourself, you feel down and you feel, no, I can't take it anymore, I can't do it anymore, just tell yourself that you are capable of achieving just about anything. Still, if you are assailed by doubts, approach somebody. If you think you can't share that with anybody else, go to a teacher, because a teacher has full faith in her students, and a teacher never forgets. Thank you.